Okay, so we saw about 3 things there today, just on this quick little drive. We saw how vision continued, but today it decided to stop instead of continue and let the mapping rehappen. It got itself in the wrong lane, which was unfortunate because it had to recross 3 lanes of traffic. Barrels and mapping and a couple of turns that I don't think it looked appropriately. There was a big white van that was blocking the view and it just proceeded. Fortunately, it was clear. And I had my foot on the brake. Had it not been clear, I would have stopped in an emergency brake fashion. But anyway, construction zones are hard. It's going to have to continue to learn how to read signs a little bit better, locate barrels a little bit better, and a little bit vision mapping, planning better. Hey YouTube, good morning. Got to do another quick part 2 of the Orlando construction zone run. I'm here on the Cimarron Boulevard intersection, just outside the Orlando airport. It's a pretty busy intersection. Wearing my Cybertruck socks today. My daughter gave me these for my birthday. I told her I'd show them to everybody. Yesterday on my video, I was hearing a chime and I wasn't sure what it was because I don't normally have a overspeed warning chime on my system. Some great commenters had heard that chime and knew what it was, and somehow during all of the rollback reinstalls, the speed limit warning chime was turned on. So I'm in the settings, autopilot, I'm going to turn that back to display. So just kind of to wrap that point up, that was the overspeed warning chime. And what was happening is when the speed limit was reduced, even though I was engaged in FSD, the time it took to go from the previous speed to the new speed, it was detecting it was in an overspeed and give me a chime. Now, arguably, I would say that chime probably shouldn't be there when FSD is engaged if the system is managing the speed, as I don't need a warning. But either way, that is what it was. I think I've got it turned off now, so I shouldn't hear it again, but I appreciate everybody that commented on that and taught me a little bit. Okay, I think we've got a green light here up ahead of this car. I've got a left turn intersection here. It's a pretty short intersection. Let's see what happens if it's going to make it. We got a van here that wants to go to the right. I wonder if there's a stalled car up here or something. Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure why we missed that light. Okay, so I guess we'll be waiting another second. I couldn't see. So that scenario where I couldn't see was just like the scenario a couple videos ago where the car tried to go around because it couldn't see that there was still an obstruction in the front. With no radar, we can't really see cars in front now, but now we have the lead car. It's dark gray. Brake lights are on and represented. I think that's good. Interesting in this visualization, we've got a bicycle over here rendered for a divided highway sign. I would say that's not a very accurate representation, and I'm not exactly sure why it thinks that's a bicycle. I don't see anything round on that sign at all. A little bit of a wrap up from yesterday. A few people made some great comments that I think are worth bringing into this construction zone video. The roundabout on vision with the map data not showing a roundabout, I think definitely was the highlight of that reel. It did it really good. It's done it good before, and it's done it really well almost every single time I've tried it, believe it or not. So that's a real testament to vision being able to override map data. It also shows, map data, also kind of needs to stay up at least at a basic level, because I'm sure that in every scenario, more often than not, bad map data will create problems, especially with a GPS issue. I had a side conversation with another FSDBeta tester the other day about GPS, and I want to think about it a little bit more. Those of you that are familiar with phones and how GPS works, and me in aviation, being a pilot, we use GPS a lot, and the way it works is it's triangulation of position from satellites that are orbiting the Earth much faster than the Earth's rotation. So at any one time, it needs at least 3 GPSs to get a fix on the ground to know where you are. The more GPS reception you have, the tighter that position will be, the more accurate it will be. I have seen a lot of GPS problems on the car where the chevron, which is the GPS location of the car, will be offset from the road. And it definitely happens a little bit more in rural situations. I think that this could be another critical path where GPS location in conjunction with map data could be a little bit of a limiting factor. If they can't figure out a way of tightening up the GPS resolution using vision somehow, kind of like they're doing in Google and Apple Maps these days with localization based on imagery. Okay, anyway, GPS discussion may be for another day. I think it did that turn just fine. It was very smooth. I've got a lot of barrels coming up here. Sorry for that camera dropout. I don't know if I said a keyword or not. In any case, a lot of barrels defining the lanes. It looks like it's wide open. I've got to merge to the left. It's in the correct lane. And we'll just see what it does here. I've got a car passing me on the left, and then he decided to slow down. I'm going to just bump it up a little bit. This 35 is a little bit too slow for this ramp, I think. So what I want you to notice as I go over this overpass, it's got a circle mapped. The last time I was here, and I don't think it's changed, no, it has not, that circle is not being used. And if you look really closely, my GPS is already off of the map path there. So right about now, it's getting confused as to what we're gonna do. Oh, I just got a brake event. Okay, I had to hit the accelerator there. I don't know why. It changed lanes and hit a brake event. It should have continued on that path. So now it changed lanes into the left lane, and now it's in a bad spot. It needs to get over to the right. I'm gonna let it do it. There's not too much traffic around here. I don't need to, okay, now there's a truck that's boxed me out. All right, follow route, it knows it, it's going over. It needs to get over one more, and it has time to do it. It's crossing over a solid line to do it, and it did it. That worked today because it was a low traffic environment. If it had been another couple hours and there was 3 or 4 lanes of traffic going here, it would not have made that after it got itself into the wrong lane. And I'm not exactly sure why it tapped the brakes so hard in the middle of that intersection. That is not a good behavior, which is why I particularly marked that one. But I'm going to give it credit. It got here in a low traffic environment. Okay, it stopped. There's a car behind me. I'm stopped way behind the stop line, so I just tapped the accelerator there, and now it's creeping forward. I am blocked by this car. It needs to, boy, it did not look. That was a overly aggressive turn without looking around that car. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that or not. Okay. More barrels, and these barrels are now going into the sun. The barrels are defining the lane. There is a dash line that's also keeping me in the lane. The localization on these barrels was a great conversation yesterday, how when they jumped out in the, all right, it's a little confused here what it wants to do, and now it's stopped. Okay, I don't have anybody behind me, so it's not unsafe, but look at where it stopped. Sorry, my camera keeps cutting off on me today. I was not happy with where that stopped. I'm going to do another snapshot there just because they may want to take a look at that video. So that's twice today during a remapping or a confusion event. It did, I need to stop to see what is going on. I don't like that behavior. There may be a reason they're doing it to give the car more time, but stopping in the middle of a road is probably the worst thing you can do when you're confused. You need to just kind of go with the flow of the traffic and let it work itself out. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the comments maybe. But if you notice up here, I've got a road closed sign to the left, but it's not being used. It's on the other side of the barrels. It's not being rendered at all, and it looks like it's gonna go straight just fine. The trajectory vector is fine. Again, a lot more barrels here. The lines are actually correct though, so the barrels are outside of the lines, which means it has both of those as indicators. The road closed sign that's blocking off that left side, not being mapped. It's doing okay here though. I'm not looking at the screen because of the sun angle right now. I'm not sure if the barrels are being represented as well or not. Okay, and a blinker to get over. Okay, that should be the end of the construction zone. I'm just gonna bump it up a little bit. This is a little bit of a too slow of a speed on a 2-lane road. Interesting. Okay, so we saw about 3 things there today, just on this quick little drive. We saw how vision continued, but today it decided to stop instead of continue and let the mapping rehappen. It got itself in the wrong lane, which was unfortunate because it had to recross 3 lanes of traffic. Barrels and mapping and a couple of turns that I don't think it looked appropriately. There was a big white van that was blocking the view and it just proceeded. Fortunately, it was clear. And I had my foot on the brake. Had it not been clear, I would have stopped in an emergency brake fashion. But anyway, construction zones are hard. It's going to have to continue to learn how to read signs a little bit better, locate barrels a little bit better, and a little bit vision mapping, planning better. I think that's going to be it for today. This is just going to be a quick video. Let me know what you guys think. If you think any of it's worth highlighting, I can cut some of these clips out and repost them. Please leave your comments below. Hope everybody has a great day.